Today on The Active Word.
Can I tell you who's given you the faith? It's the Lord. The Lord pours out enough faith and you go, something's happening in me. By faith, you said, maybe God. And by favor, he said, yes, God. It's favor.
Welcome to The Active Word with Pastor Bob Coy. We're going to jump into the second part of Pastor Bob's teaching from the book of Ruth. It's called Romantic Redemption. Last time we learned that because of the disobedience of the Jews, God had turned his attention to the Gentiles. Today we continue with this message about redemption. We'll find out that God really wants to spend time with us. Here's Pastor Bob.
Okay, now we're setting the stage. Why? This is a glorious drama because we have a poor Gentile who has no hope that's soon going to meet a wealthy Jewish man who owns all the property that is going to feel very, very compassionate toward the Gentile. And he, listen to this, and I'm going to spoil the rest of the story. He marries her. Oh, it's a great, great wedding ceremony. They have a child named Obed. Obed happens to be the grandfather of David, and through David we have Jesus Christ. Oh, you got to read it. Ruth chapter 2, verse 1. Watch this. There was a relative of Naomi's husband, a man of great wealth, of the family of Elimelech. His name was Boaz. So Ruth the Moabitess said to Naomi, please let me go to the field and glean heads of grain after him, in whose sight I may find favor. And she said to her, well, go, my daughter. And then she left and she went and gleaned in the field after the reapers. And she happened to come to the part of the field belonging to Boaz, who was the family of Elimelech. Now, give me your attention, please. I've got 4 F-letter words, the first of which is faith. I want you to see the faith. She's a Gentile now living in a Jewish neighborhood, and yet she believes if she goes out, she's going to find somebody who will have favor on her. I love this. Now, how will she find the favor? Here's how. She's going to be gleaning in the fields. Gleaning. Now, I love this picture. Here's why. Because as the Jew moves forward in the fruit of this piece of property called their faith, they leave enough behind so that if there's anyone looking for a relationship with God, here they can find, hey, I think I found some salvation. Hey, here I think I found some grace. Hey, here I think I found. You get the idea? Gentiles have an opportunity to come behind the Jew and pick up by law what's being left behind. And that, my friend, is an act of faith. An act of faith. For some of you, it's what bugs you about Christianity. It's faith. I can't take anything by faith. Unless I see it, I don't believe. Is that really how you feel? George Washington, the first president? Yeah. You see him? You meet George? Hey, George. You watch him cross the Delaware, did you? Well, come on, that's a matter of history. Wait a second. Let me ask you a question. What in life is not faith? It took faith this morning for you to get out of bed. You turned around, you put your feet on the floor. Once you put your feet on the floor, you believed by faith that you're going to move forward. Now, for some of you, it's a little difficult. Nonetheless, when you put your next foot forward, hey, I'm walking. And it wasn't like, this amazing thing. No, you just take it for granted by faith. When you saw your car, you put your key inside. You went to turn the key. A lot of you, most of you, by faith. It's going to start. You believed. You just sit there going, I'm not sure. Now, some of you might have said, I'm not sure if this is going to start, but you might need a trip to the local dealership here. But some of you, you put your key in, you go, and it's just going to start. Why? Because it always starts, because it's a great car, because it just is, because it's going to do it. It's all faith. You, by faith, believed I'd be here or somebody would be preaching, that we'd actually have church be open. You drove all the way here. All the way here, you're going, I'm going to go to church today. You believed it was going to be open. And when you sat down in your chair, you did so by faith. You didn't get a group of engineers. Excuse me, will you tell me if this chair will fit my weight? I'm in a different class from a few other folks. I want to make sure that I can actually sit here. And they check the integrity of the chair, have a few people throw a few weights down there. Is that a spring hinge when the seat comes up? No, it's gravity. I don't want to bounce out. Okay, let's check. Stop it. Then if you had any of those thoughts, you walked over and you sat down. Now here's the amazing thing about it. Some of you exercise more faith sitting in your chair than you do in God, trusting Him for whatever it is you need. You have a relationship of faith with your employer. You're going to go to work tomorrow. You're going to work the whole week believing that on Friday you're going to get a paycheck. You don't know how he's doing financially. He could be bankrupt tomorrow. You go, Bob, That's not prophetic. Don't scare me. That's not a word. No, it's not a word. What I'm saying is that relationship at work is by faith. Your relationship with your wife is by faith. If she's at home and she wasn't feeling good, you went to church, she by faith believed you're at church. Listen to this, Hebrews 11:6. The Bible says, without faith, it's impossible to please Him. That's God. For he who comes to God must believe that He is. In other words, you got to believe God exists. And that He's a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. Do you understand that Ruth is stepping out in faith? She's in new land. She's never been. I was thinking, Naomi, I had to go out and glean. In your law, it says something about gleaning. I heard somebody say something about gleaning. And I'm just going to go out and glean, and I'm going to check and see if maybe something won't happen. So watch what happens. Next verse, verse 4. Ruth 2, now behold, Boaz came from Bethlehem, and he said to the reapers, the Lord be with you. And they answered him, will the Lord bless you? Then Boaz said to his servants, who was in charge of the reapers, whose young woman is this? So the servant who was in charge of the reapers answered that, well, it's the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi from the country of Moab. Now, before we move into verse 7, I want to set this a little bit better because what do we have? We have a true love story. Some of you are reading ahead. Will you stop? Poor Jewish girl. Doesn't have enough money. I don't know. I'm going to take a step of faith and believe that somehow God will. Here comes Boaz on his horse. Who's the babe? She worked for me. That's the girl. Remember? Naomi came back with a babe. That's her. Right there. Verse 7. And she said, please, let me glean and gather after the reapers among the sheaves. So she came and has continued from morning until now, though she rested a little in the house. And Boaz said to Ruth, you listen, my daughter, will you not? Do not glean in another field, nor go from here, but stay close to my young women. Let your eyes be on the field which they reap, and go after them. Have I not commanded the young men not to touch you? And when you're thirsty, go to the vessel and drink from what I have. Well, the young men have drawn. So she falls on her face, bows down to the ground, and says to him, why have I found favor in your eyes? You're a babe. No, I mean, why have I found favor in your eyes that you should take notice of me, since I'm just a little old foreigner? Oh. And Boaz answered and said to her, it's been fully reported to me what you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband, and how you have left your father and your mother in the land of your birth, and have come to a people whom you did not know before. Oh, the Lord repay your work, and full reward be given to you by the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come for refuge. Your attention, please. Second F-letter word, favor. Favor. She steps out in faith to find favor. Now, what is favor? Favor of the Lord is His act of choosing you. He chooses Ruth. He's choosing Ruth. He's choosing to have a relationship with Ruth. Now, this is really important. Here's why. Jot it down. John 15:16. John 15:16. Jesus is speaking. Here's what Jesus says. You did not choose me, but I chose you and ordained you to bear fruit that lasts. Here's why we wrestle with that. Because many times at the end of the Bible say, if you want to follow Christ, get up out of your seat, and here's what you're thinking. I'm choosing God. Yes, I will step forward. I'll open my heart. Can I tell you who's given you the faith to move your feet from? It's the Lord. The Lord pours out enough faith, and you go, wow, why do I feel the need to get saved? Something's happening in me. By faith, you said, maybe God. And by favor, he said, yes, God. It's favor. Now, there's something special about this favor, and you can jot it down. It's Ephesians chapter 1. Ephesians chapter 1. Specifically, and I love this verse, in the first two verses of Ephesians chapter 1, the Apostle Paul, right in the church of Ephesus, says that we have been, listen to this, adopted into the fellowship through Jesus Christ for the Father. And he uses the word adoptive, or adoption in a different translation. I've been adopted. Now, why am I adopted? Here's why. I'm not a natural kid. I'm a Gentile. Now, my brothers and sisters who are Jewish, they're the natural kids. I'm the adopted kid. And some of you who are Gentiles say, I don't know if you want to make that a big point, Bob, being adopted. I mean, you know about adopted kids. Well, wait a second. Here's what I do know about adopted kids. Natural kids are natural kids. And sometimes you can sometimes you can find yourself pregnant and go, I'm pregnant. Oh, how'd that happen? Oh, I'm not ready for this. Now, what is that? That's very different from saying, I am so ready for a kid that we're going to seek and find. We're going to plan and prepare. I so want a child. Do you understand what it would mean for my family right now to adopt a child? And that I already have some, and I'm so happy with them, that for me to actually say to some other kid, there's room in my house for you, that kid would feel so special. Why? It's something I don't have to do. Gentile, listen, he has family he loves and adores. And during their season of rebellion, he in his wisdom says, it's the perfect time for me to extend an arm to those whom I've also chosen. So he's chosen the Jew, he's chosen the Gentile, it's all a part of his perfect plan to have this incredible family of faith. Now, keep in mind, faith, I step out, favor, I find I have it. Next F-letter word, move a little further. This time, verse 13, then she said, let me find favor in your sight, my Lord. For you have comforted me and have spoken kindly to your maidservant, though I'm not like one of your maidservants. Now Boaz said to her at mealtime, and it's interesting, it's mealtime, come here and eat of the bread and dip your piece of bread in the vinegar. She sat beside the reapers, and he passed parched grain to her, and she ate and was satisfied and kept some back. When she arose up to glean, Boaz commanded his young men, saying, let her glean even among the sheaves, and don't reproach her. Also let grain from the bundles fall. Now watch this. Purposely for her. Leave it so she might glean, and don't rebuke her. So she gleaned in the field until the evening and beat out what she had gleaned. It was about an ephah full of barley. Your attention? She's got a little bumper crop. And this is a wonderful thing. Why? How did she end up with so much fruit? Well, the F-letter word is fellowship. You see, you step out in faith, you find out there's favor, and the whole reason for the faith and the favor, God wants to hang out with you. That blows my mind.
You're listening to The Active Word with Pastor Bob Coy. Now, if you'd like to know more about this ministry or about Pastor Bob Coy, visit us online at activeword.org. That's activeword.org. Also, if you'd like to help us share the gospel and give a gift to the Active Word ministry, call us at 1-866-222-WORD. That's 1-866-222-9673. That's also where you can find someone to pray with, someone who cares, or just someone to talk to, something you're struggling with maybe. The number again, 1-866-222-9673. For now, let's get back to Pastor Bob as he wraps up today's message, Romantic Redemption.
I don't know the last time you just stayed there on that thought, that the God who tells the sun where to shine, the waves where to halt, wants to hang out with you. Now, here's the fascinating thing about that to me. The Bible declares concerning Christ that He will never leave me or forsake me. And I hope you won't misunderstand when I say, every once in a while, I feel sorry for God. Why? Because I see Him creating man and just wanting to hang out. Just wanting to fellowship, just wanting to talk. When you pray and He talks back with you, I mean, that's a father-son, father-daughter relationship. Now, sometimes He doesn't get your attention. And so, of course, He's trying to do things to get your attention. He creates this beautiful sunset. And as you're driving home, He says, hey, well, I'd love to talk to you. I'm going to put this sunset in the sky. And here's what you do. You slam down your visor. Oh, it's burning my eyes. Well, that's not what I had in mind. Or let me try this. And now, here comes a gentle rain. And as the gentle rain is going to make the flowers grow, and you'll smell that freshness, and it cools down the humidity. Here's what you do. You put up an umbrella, and you curse the rain. I get my jacket wet. Oh, man, I got a leather jacket, now it's wet. God's saying, wish there was a way I could get your attention. Oh, I got a way to get your attention. Skip the sunset, skip the rain. I know what I'll do. And He pounds His Son on a cross. And His own kid hangs there. He's been turned to a raw piece of meat. And His blood flows freely from the top of His head to the bottom of His feet. He said, can we talk? And you say, well, that's something I can't easily. Why is Christianity so bloody? Why is this religion? Why is this God so bloody? There's so much blood in the Bible. Yeah, I know. Do you know why? I don't know about you. When I see blood, there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of awareness. When I see blood, something happened. I can't just see blood. I don't walk in my house and if there's a pool of blood going, it's blood. Hey, somebody clean up this blood. I don't do that. Blood! Exactly. This blood is for you. And do you understand the whole idea behind this blood? Oh, pardon me. This blood's for you. Not this blood. Okay, this blood's for you. We're living in a culture. The blood was for you for fellowship. And when you realize you can have fellowship with Him, and you realize He's never going to leave you or forsake you, and you realize, and just jot it down, 1 John 1 and 9, these things we've heard, these things we've seen. Why is John writing 1 John? He's saying, here's why. Because I have fellowship with Him. I want you to have fellowship with Him the same way that the Father has fellowship with the Son. It's just one big group of fellowship. God wants to hang out with you. Now, final point and final F letter word, back to the book of Ruth. We pick it up and read verse 18. Then she took it up and went into the city, and her mother-in-law saw that she had gleaned, so she brought it out and gave to her what she had kept back after she'd been satisfied. And the mother-in-law said to her, now you can see, mother-in-law just sends out the daughter-in-law. She comes back, she's got this big old ephah of barley. She says, where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the one who took notice of you. So she told her mother-in-law whom she had worked, and she said, the man's name with whom I work today is Boaz. Then Naomi said to her daughter-in-law, blessed be he of the Lord, who has not forsaken his kindness to the living and to the dead. And Naomi said to her, this man is a relation of ours, one of our close relatives. You say, why is this so important that he's one of the relatives? Here's why. This is oh so cool. Come on back. In Deuteronomy 23 and 3, again, the Moabite cannot enter the covenant or the congregation of the Lord. According to Deuteronomy 7 and 2 and 3, listen to this, the Jew can't intermarry with a Moabite. So there can be no marriage with a Moabite, and the Moabite can't come and enjoy the covenantal relationship with God. But check this out. According to Deuteronomy 25 and 5, Deuteronomy 25 and 5, out of all 613 laws given to the Jew, listen to this one. If brothers dwell together and one of them dies and has no son, the widow of the dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside the family. Her husband's brother shall go into her, take her as his wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her. What's that? Yeah, it'd be like, and let me borrow this illustration. You got brothers, you got a sister-in-law. Let's say for a moment, your brother dies. Your sister-in-law's on her own. According to Jewish law, it's your responsibility to bring his wife, now that he's dead, into the family. And by blood, as you sire a son or a daughter, she now continues to enjoy the inheritance she had and the inheritance she has. We have Ruth in need. We have Boaz show up at the scene. There's no hope of relationship between the two of them, excepting there be the one law out of all 613 that gives him the right to be what's called the kinsman redeemer. And as the kinsman redeemer, she can actually marry him. She can, in fact, enjoy his great Jewish wealth. She can, in fact, call the property of his the property of hers. Now, here's why that's so important today. A couple of current events. Every once in a while, people say to me, hey, what's with the Israeli flag in the sanctuary? You ever notice we fly an Israeli flag here? Do you understand that that's not so political, but it is spiritual? And maybe more so today, you realize how spiritual it is. I love Israel. I'm pro-Israel. Why? Well, because had it not been for the Jew and for their fathers, I wouldn't be a believer. Now, that is important. Why? Don't need to turn there, but if you'd like, you can. Last passage, it's Zechariah chapter 12. And listen to this, verse 2. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of drunkenness to all the surrounding peoples. God's word, how many years ago? Jerusalem will be a cup of drunkenness. In other words, it's going to be the one that causes everyone to scratch their heads and walk around dizzy. when they lay siege to Jerusalem, it shall happen in that day that I will make Jerusalem a very heavy stone for all peoples. All who would heave it away will be cut to pieces, though all the nations of the earth are gathered against it. Now watch this. This is, Zechariah, thousands of years before Israel is now reborn as a nation. Thousands of years before May 8, 1948. We have the prophet Zechariah looking on it, a piece of property that's basically desert wasteland at the time, and saying, someday, that city, Jerusalem, all nations will be against it. All nations? Why? Because everyone's tired of this. We're tired of unrest in the Middle East. We're tired. Why can't you guys just divide this land and get along? How can we have peace in the Middle East? It was after 9/11 that we had the great question. Why were we attacked as America? Why is America, on the hit list? I mean, why in the world? What do these guys need? They want a state. The Palestinians want their own place. Fine, give it to them. I just want peace in the Middle East. Did you just read what I read? I will make Jerusalem a heavy stone for all people, all who would heave it away. Another translation reads, all who would divide it will surely be cut to pieces. You go, wait a second, doesn't the Bible also say if the Jews are rebellious, he'll give it to another people? Well, that's true, it does say that, but it doesn't say that conflict won't come in the face of that. You say, Pastor Bob, I don't like this study. You're scaring the hell out of me. And now some of you are going, I can't believe he just said that. No, I'll say it again because I meant to say it. Listen, I am trying to scare the hell out of you. I'd like the hell to not be in any of you. Do you understand? I want you to be holy. I want you to be holy. I want you to be right of God. If there's something in you that's a hellish desire or a hellish ambition, I want to scare that out of you. But I don't think I need to scare it out of you. I think all you need to do today is read the paper. I think all you need to do is watch the news. And I think when you see what's happening in the Middle East right now, here's what's going to happen. When's he coming back? Can we still have communion? Do we have time for that? That's what I think. Now, some of you are going to go, well, what should we do, Pastor Bob? Well, here's what we've decided to do here at Calvary Chapel. We bought some barbed wire. Some ammo, some guns. And if anyone wants to live on this property right here, I'll be your leader. No, don't take the communion. No, wait a second. That's radical. That's rude. No, listen to what Jesus said. Jesus said, occupy until I come. Now, what does that mean, occupy until I'm come? The word occupy in the Greek, be busy about my business till I come back. When Jesus comes back, I want to be busy building the kingdom of God. I want to be busy sharing and saving. I want to be busy delivering and declaring. That's what I want to be busy doing when he comes back. It doesn't stop us from building another building. Jesus might come back. I can't believe you're going to spend that money on a building. I think even more so we're going to spend the money on a building. Why? And every day he tarries. I'm still seeing hundreds of people come to Christ every week. And I think that this is an end-time harvest. And you might think I'm, out to lunch to think so, but I think that the people we're seeing saved right now in America and around the world, man, salvation is happening like it's never happened in human history before, in all nations around the world. And I think that Ruth is in Naomi's field and she's picking up a bumper crop because soon and very soon, Boaz is going to be the groom to his bride and Jesus Christ is going to come back to get his. And I can't wait for that. But because I have to wait for that because not here, I still want to be busy about his business. Amen?
The book of Ruth is filled with types, pictures, and patterns, but it's also a love story. Through the story of Ruth, you and I can understand the meaning of redemption, just how amazing God's love is for us. We hope you've been encouraged by the teaching today called Romantic Redemption. Before we go, let's hear a little bit about this week's faith-building resource.
It's so easy to say the words, I'll pray for you, but do we actually take time to pray? Prayer is a commitment. It takes time and focus, and with life moving at such a fast pace, it's so easy to intend to pray and then forget all about it. We're offering a CD collection called Just Pray, which includes 3 messages from Pastor Bob Coy on prayer. In these messages, Pastor Bob teaches that it is not theological words or long, extravagant prayers that God is looking for, but a deep, abiding relationship with us. And that comes through prayer. To order your Just Pray CD collection for a donation of $15 to the Active Word Radio Ministry, give us a call at 1-866-222-WORD. Again, that's 1-866-222-9673. Or visit us online at activeword.org and click on the Products and Resources tab.
Find that resource online at activeword.org. Or again, call us at 1-866-222-WORD. At activeword.org, you can catch up with us on Facebook or Twitter, as well as catch up on any teachings you might have missed. We invite you to join us next time as we begin a brand new study called He's Got You Covered. Here's a preview.
You go ahead when I'm pouring out wrath to mankind. Those of you who choose to believe as Noah did, I'll take the hit rather than you taking the hit. How covenantal is he? Every covenant, and I researched this to make sure I could say what I'm going to say, every covenant, again, had you in mind and your perfection.
Thanks for joining us today for The Active Word with Pastor Bob Coy. We hope you'll be back next time with us. Until then, and until the whole world hears, God bless you.